Live from the Washington, D.C. area, it's the Inside Scoop, all the news that our viewers want to know. Now, here's the host.
Hi folks, Cesar here. Thanks for joining us again. We've got a great show this evening. Going to add a little bit of a business twist to our first couple segments, and I want to introduce you to our first guest. This gentleman is currently a managing partner with the Gemini Business Group. That is a new venture development firm. He has served in many areas, a senior corporate manager with companies like RCA, Xerox, GTE, IBM. He has been in managing consulting with Coopers and Labyrinth, Booz & Allen, James Martin. He's served as a CEO for North America in that realm. He's been an adjunct professor, 12 years at 3 local Washington, D.C. universities. He's also served as a CEO at several senior management levels, advisory boards, members of a wide range of public and private ventures. He is the author of 2 very successful entrepreneurial management books. And welcome to the show, Paul Silverman. Thank you for joining us.
Cesar, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
We have a lot to go through in a little time. I thought this was really important, especially in this region. You know, this area of Northern Virginia has become kind of the Silicon Valley of the East. A lot of opportunities for a lot of people to basically invest and do what their dream allows them to do. So walk us through, we'll get through the details, but at a high level, kind of walk us through sort of the process, your vision, how things get to be successul.
Well, there's an underlying theme I've gone by in my books and teaching and everything, and pretty simple. It's easy to start a new business. Yeah. Relatively easy. There's 9,003 books on Amazon that tell you how to do that. The problem is building a business that's sustainable. Right. And what happens is, if you look across the new business world, you find entrepreneurial management developing businesses, but you need traditional management to grow and manage the business. Sure. That disconnect is significant, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And that's really where I come in. So I work with many small companies to try to educate them on traditional management, teaching for many years, practicing in the real world, running companies and securing funding for many with people that trust me. What I've learned is there's a set of skills that young entrepreneurs, and young, I mean young maturity in business, young entrepreneurs have to learn to succeed. And as I'll say in a minute, show you in a minute, the failure rate is so significant. When you look at 50% of new ventures fail within 5 years. This is after maxing your credit cards, taking money from friends and family, et cetera, and you fail in 5 years.
Yeah, we'll get into the hows and the whats, but yeah, again, at a high level, it's almost like the person that has this brilliant idea, you know, they see their vision, they want to pursue it. It's almost, it comes to a point where they have to let go to experts, and that I've seen is kind of the tough point for some of these. And that is really reflective upon whether or not the business succeeds or not, because the creativity that spawned sort of that idea isn't necessarily the right skill set to manage it to profitability, correct?
Yes, I've been in more ventures than I like to think about, where money was put in, a business was developed, and the founder wouldn't let go. Right. Because, and I'm sure you can relate to this.
I've seen it.
We've all seen
there,
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We call it founder-itis. There's a term for that.
I just call it ego.
Yeah, ego, right. But the point is, there is a time when founders should step back, take a good chunk of the company, go off, play golf or whatever, or have a handcuff arrangement. And that's what I said before. It's a different set of skills. You hit it right on the head. There's a different set of skills. In 2009, just as some background, I worked with George Mason, and I was teaching there. And they had a problem in the Mason Enterprise Center, which you may be familiar with, 150 firms. They found that when these small firms got to $500,000, $1 million in revenue, they graduated, and then they failed. They pushed them out the door and they failed. And I came in to create the Step Up program, which is an educational program that moved them to the next level. Exactly what we're talking about, that set of skills. The bottom line, though, at the highest level, if you look across the entrepreneurial community, you have to do more than fund people. If there's any message I impart here today, you have to do more than fund people. You have to educate people. Yeah. And that transition management from entrepreneurial management to traditional management is the missing element. And that's quite frankly why I wrote my second book, this 8 building blocks book, with some coercion from lots of my friends to get this down. But essentially to provide at least the foundation skills in 8 areas that I thought were important. You know, if you think about it, look at the entrepreneurial ventures you see and ask yourself the question when you see them, how many people talk value chain? Have you ever seen Porter's 5 forces analysis to look at market attractiveness and et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah. It's done after the fact or after.
Exactly, exactly. So improving the positioning with investors and having sustainability is really the key here.
So let's kind of start breaking it down into maybe industries or just sectors. Let's start with Northern Virginia. Northern Virginia is a nice cross-section of, it's got federal jobs, it has integrations, consulting services, a hodgepodge of manufacturing, finance. It's got all these sort of segments that aren't necessarily representative like in the Northeast or the central part or even Silicon Valley. But I think that's unique, and it's actually an advantage for someone wanting to get their business, their idea off the ground and started. So walk us through kind of like the process where you might come in or someone you might target or an organization. How would they benefit? Because ultimately everyone wants to, you know, live the American dream, right? They have an idea, they take it to market, and it's successful.
Yeah, I'll give you 1 or 2 examples. Someone has a cybersecurity technology. I have 3 of those. Let's give you an idea how many there are of those. When I do that, I bring an expert in to look at it, and maybe 1 or 2 are superb. I might take that and call up one of the big contractors, say, this is what we have, what do you think? Without divulging any real information. This is how it fits in. We may do a demo, we may have an audience. Again, this is done before you seek funding, before you go to the venture folks or private equity
folks. Now, do they know enough to have an NDA in place?
I mean, of course, yeah. I didn't go through the mechanics, of course. Yeah. NDA, obviously, yeah.
Right,
obviously.
But are those some of the things that people make mistakes with? They are either too excited or.
Well, it gets back to what I just said before. You know, if you're too much of an entrepreneur, a founder, I'm in what I call the gee whiz factor on technology. Yeah. It's the other term I like to use. Yeah. So if you think about it, you have to do the block and tackling, you know, the basics. That's the basic stuff. And quite frankly, you have to have a business plan that reflects a business, not technology. Right. You got the difference on that one.
Absolutely.
So if you think about it, take a step back, take a technology, develop a calibration on it. How does it stand relative to the marketplace? Is it leading edge? Is it technically leading edge? Is it sustainable? Can you expand it? Can you roll it out? Do you have, what's the mechanism to distribute it? Is it a product, a technology, a service, if you see where I'm going? Yeah. And to whom? What sectors? Yeah. So, for example, cybersecurity, as an example, the one I'm looking at is one is for the grid, literally the grid. That's not a DoD target. That's a power world, if you see my point. So, and again, that's all dissecting the market opportunity. That's very different from saying, hey, I have this great technology.
So just in reading your bio a little bit, your experiences with a lot of what I would refer to as the traditional, sort of the big, the blue chips, the IBMs. I mean, those are really big process infrastructure heavy organizations. What's emerging now, especially in the tech sector, is a lot of these sort of one-offs. Because you'll have someone that is brilliant. They create a product and they want to take it to market. So what are some of the things? Because the IBMs of the world, the big organizations of the world, have a lot of value in the discipline that they've built over the years. So what are some of the sort of leading top priority things that some of these entrepreneurial companies or smaller companies can do?
Let me give you an example. I like to give advice by example.
Sure.
When I was in Coopers and Lybrand, I started the electronic data interchange practice. And I had, at that time, about 100 different companies, small companies. It's very similar to the IoT market, the Internet of Things market today, approach us. And say, we have something, we'd like to work with you. Kind of the same model you're talking about. The filter on those companies, why some and not the other? The folks that maintained a business positioning as opposed to technology, that maintained an application and solutions approach, that thought through the pricing and how it fit in, technically how it fit in. How does it work? Compare that to the folks that came to us and said, I have this great technology. I'm not sure where it fits in. I don't know how it interconnects to an SAP ERP system. Technically, I think it meets the standards, but I'm not sure. I need your help, if you see my point. So what I'm really saying is you do your homework, and I recommend that. I mean, that's my counsel to everybody I talk to. You do the homework up front, and you significantly improve your probability of success. And by the way, I came out of the big company world, but the last 10, 15 years, I've been in the entrepreneurial world, raising money and being CEO of lots of little companies, public and private. And I use the same battle plan. There's no difference if you do it right. There's no difference from a large company, if you think about it, approaching a new business, from a small company approaching it the way I'm saying, with the traditional management piece on it. You see my point?
Yeah, I see the process or the success factors, but the small business or entrepreneurial isn't necessarily going to even know what an ERP is, right? They're going to think, well, I probably I could do QuickBooks, or I have some sort of fulfillment, but to that point, let's talk here after the break a little bit more about where you would like or you'd like to focus these entrepreneurs to focus on.
Sure.
In terms of some of the top areas. I know we had some slides for you, but we'll get to them after the break at this point.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So just real quick before the break, you love what you do, right? I mean,
sure.
Really
get up every day. You could probably tell, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's especially in this area, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Northern Virginia is just. I mean, I called it the Silicon Valley of the East. It really is.
Yeah, it's a good term. Good term.
Just the people, the tech firms, and everything else we've got going on here. So, yeah. So after the break, we're going to delve in a little bit more in terms of the process and the pieces. So let's do that. So, folks, join us after the break, where we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the process to being a successful entrepreneur, and hopefully bring some of this home to Northern Virginia.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed ours.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Open enrollment is back. Enroll Virginia wants you to get covered for 2016 and beyond. You have until January 31st to enroll in affordable health care. If you wish to have coverage by January 1st, you must enroll by December 15th. That's less than a month from now. Remember, the penalty for not having health insurance next year is a minimum of $695 per person. Don't think twice about it. To find an enrollment event near you or to get free help with the application, visit our webpage or give us a call. El periodo de inscripción ha comenzado. Enroll Virginia quiere que tú y tu familia tengan cobertura médica este próximo 2016. Tienes hasta el 31 de enero para inscribirte. Si deseas cobertura desde el 1 de enero, debes inscribirte antes del 15 de diciembre. Recuerda que si no tienes cobertura el próximo año, te multarán una suma mínima de $695 por cada adulto. No lo pienses más y visita nuestra página para más información o para ayuda con la solicitud.
Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation letter.
You're resigning. Why?
Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this.
You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit.
I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me.
Okay, but remember, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
We're back to the Inside Scoop. Here again, your host.
Hi folks, Cesar here. Welcome back. We're going to delve into the details here. So for all those entrepreneurs out there, this is what you've been waiting for. Paul, take us through real quick just on the process and kind of how one might launch a new venture, and then we'll kind of take it apart after you run us through here a little bit.
Fine.
I know you've got some slides. If we can
yeah,
cue
well,
those
short slide presentation. No long, boring slide presentation here. Look at how do you develop and launch a new venture. Pretty simple. Create a new idea. Create a business plan. As I said before, there's about 9,003 books on Amazon that will help you get to that point. Secure funding, and you'll see the list there for who funding comes from. Savings, credit cards, et cetera, et cetera. Two things happen. You either get funding, you launch the business. We don't get funding, you become a maybe next time entrepreneur, what I call a maybe next time entrepreneur.
Lots of those, right?
Lots of those, plenty of those. In fact, more of those than the business launch. Go to the next slide. Easy to start, but how do you win? How do you win? As I said before, and many statistics reaffirm this, half of ventures fail within 5 years. 35% fail within 3 years. So odds are pretty tough. Why? Look at the marketplace. Market technology, I'm sorry, go back to the previous slide, sorry. Yeah, just leave that one on. Market technology competition, tougher than ever. Markets change faster than you can track them. Markets subsume other markets. These changes are occurring so fast exponentially. So if you sum it up, entrepreneurs face challenges from every direction, literally every direction: market, technology, competition, financial, et cetera. And that's really the statistic. Entrepreneurship is important. Let's go to the last slide. As I said, I'll keep this very short. And I've been involved in the regional economic growth thing also. That whole area intrigues me. That's an area I have great interest in. And this is a slide I've used in a couple of economic development presentations that looks at an area, takes 100 companies. Take 100 companies, 2 million each. And ask yourself the question, if we were to educate, empower, provide the tools, not SBA funding. I'm talking about well beyond SBA funding. I'm talking about the things Cesar and I are talking about today. If you educate these entrepreneurs, baseline here, I assume the 20% growth rate, they get to a certain level at the end of 5 years. But suppose you can increase that growth rate by 5% through empowerment, education, funding, of course. But funding, you need more than funding. And what you look at in 5 years with a 5% increase of growth, $153 million of new revenue that you didn't have otherwise. Now, if you do that in one city with 100 businesses, you do that in 100 cities, that's $15 billion. That's the point.
That's a good ROI.
Yes, yes, and it's doable.
Whatever side you're on, I mean, it's all good stuff. So what are some of the things that, I mean, folks listening out there, they've got an idea, what sort of things should they be aware of? You know, if they're thinking about it, or if they're in the middle of, you know, launching a venture, if they're seeking, rather than going to family or the credit cards, what sort of things should they be doing to position themselves for success?
I think the best thing, again, recognizing that there's a world of difference between an idea and an opportunity. Spent a lot of time writing about that. Give it the test. Give it the test. Having a great technology or a great product idea, a consumer product is great. Good starting point. So what's the test? Is this a test that is this a product that you need management that you don't have? Is this a product or an idea that you need significant resources to reach scale? So there's a balance. Think of it like I use the three-legged stool model: resources, management, and scale of opportunity. Suppose you create a product that there's a very small market. It's Virginia, Northern Virginia market, and no more. Small market, small resources, small management. But suppose you create a consumer product that has national appeal, international appeal. huge resources you need to achieve a sustainable position, management skills that you probably don't have. So first test is idea versus opportunity. Next is business plan. You have to develop a business plan. And I go, in some of the writings I've done, I go through the idea of creating a quick business plan. Not an exhaustive, bound, $20,000 plan, but a quick business plan, and then fleshing it out. And that's the way large companies do it. Large companies don't prepare a 100-page business plan. They prepare a concept business plan, and you test it. And there's a set of skills you do need to look at the market, and there's a basic set of skills, and that's where I'm going. The skill set I'm talking about is get help with folks that can build a business plan that you can meet with serious investors on, and you have the questions they're going to ask answered, if you see my point.
Sure.
And that's important. For example, let's talk about market. How many times do you see a business plan that says there's 10 million people that could be potential buyers. If I get 1%, I see this much revenue and this many units. I mean, it goes on and on. That's a tops-down analysis. And what I've proposed, just as an example, is a bottoms-up analysis. Oh, that's okay. Take the tops-down analysis, market share, percent of market. Do a bottoms-up analysis. I plan on hiring 10 people to sell this. They're going to close 5 orders a month. It's going to be this much. And at the end of the year, we'll generate this much, if you see my point. Yeah. And you could show that forecast compared to the tops down, and you have a test of reasonableness. So that's business plan, market plan, competition. Understand competition, not the immediate competition. If you sell a product and someone sells an integrated product and service, that's the competition. I mean, I think so. If you sell a product and someone has a SaaS model, a software as a service model, that's your competition, even though they may not be directly competitors. So the idea of using what I call traditional corporate management analyses, I'm continuing just some of the key concepts here. Marketing, you have a group of users that really love your product. You've done the test, great product. How do you take that core group of users and expand to the mass market? How do you take the early adopters in the language of marketing and reach the majority, the early majority users?
We have to find those organizations that are risk adverse or are not risk adverse to say, I will adopt this technology, because I think from an investor or purchaser, there are two things they're looking at, right? I mean, it's almost like, okay, I'm going to win. Either way, I'm going to win. I'm going to win if I invest or purchase to benefit, or I'm going to win by making the no decision, by not investing, by not purchasing.
Sure.
So I think those are the dynamics that are going on that people have to realize when they're out there promoting or trying to sell or market their goods. Right?
Good point. Good point. So,
yeah,
and you know, the adoption is an issue. To go from early adopters, there's a concept, marketing principle called crossing the chasm. You've heard that. Oh, yeah. People love our software. They go to an investor. People love our software. Well, that's the 50 people that like your software. What about the 5,000 that you're trying to reach? Right. That you need to get profit here.
That's always the hockey stick, right?
The hockey stick.
It's
exactly.
Almost like you're here. You want to get up here, but guess what? You don't really have that ability, right?
No, and again, it gets back, I keep saying the same. If there's any message that you take away from all my words, it's more than money. Yeah. It's more than money. If it was just money, the 50% that we talked about before wouldn't happen. Yeah. If you see my point, you just get more money in, presumably. I mean, a simple thing, relatively simple concept like going up the hockey stick. The people that bought at the bottom of the hockey stick are not necessarily the same buyers that you have going up the hockey stick. Right. And understanding different strategies and how to present that. The sum of it, really, the message is, if you want to approach serious investors for funds, you have to look like a serious venture as opposed to an idea. Right. If there's any single message. And I spend a lot of my time passing that message on, say it that way, and then working with both sides, investors and
as far as, I mean, obviously Northern Virginia, very IT, very tech heavy as far as the segment. Talk to me a little bit about what you're seeing. You got all this big iron, client-server stuff that's going to be out there forever. The banks, manufacturers, distributors, pharmaceuticals, those systems are never going away, right? They'll be there forever. And then you've got these emerging technologies in the cloud. And there seems to be this sort of struggle on what gets SaaS, cloud, what gets client-server. Do we need security? Do we want it hosted? You know, is it, you know, behind the firewall? So what do you see as just like a high-level sort of people grappling or technologies grappling to support some of these opportunities?
Yeah, well, let me hit a couple of them, a couple of the big ones that are here. I mean, pretty active here. Analytics. Let's talk about analytics. Big data, which I spend a lot of time on. Yeah. Big data analytics, healthcare, kind of the 3 years I spend some time on. And pick an area like healthcare and analytics. Cloud-based makes lots of sense. Transactional analytics. As an example, let's take an EHR, electronic health record.
It's got to be secure, though, right?
Well, secure. You can't pass private information, as you know, across lines, even state lines sometimes, internationally forget. Bring it into a model, take millions of data records, create rules, and then come back with an assessment that's more accurate than the doctor's. So here you have value. Yeah. Logical, a perfect application for cloud. And it's happening, but to your point, the privacy and security, the two big things. Take IoT, Internet of Things. I'm involved in an oil rig. I'm involved in a company that's looking at IoT, the oil rigs. And I'm looking at analytics on top of that. And I said, well, no, you can't do that. You can't take the employee data from the rig and bring it out.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You have even security. You have to have national security. You know, you're talking other things now. So when you look at it, some of these things sound good. I have an IoT application that sits on the cloud. It's an entrepreneurial thing, and it's an issue.
And to add to that complexity, right?
Correct.
Every country, every region has rules and laws on where data can live or not live, or what has to be in place to secure it, and is it in use, is it in transit, you know, at rest, who has all that? That's kind of the challenge, right?
Well, it's that. What about the number of IoT ventures that are coming up to track things in your home, and they all have standards. So it's the same thing we've seen in the telecom world forever. So how do you make these devices talk to one another? And just to finish up, the McKinsey study estimates 40% of the value is in things talking to one another.
Things talking to one another. Well, Paul, we're going to have you back. This is an exciting topic for folks going forward. Folks, I hope you appreciated the segment. We'll be back with our next guest. Paul, thank you again.
My pleasure.
We'll be right back.
One day these rats were playing in the woods. Wanted some matches and that's no good. Listen to smoke before you give it a try. Only you. Don't play with matches. Don't play with fire. Cause there's nothing very funny about ripped off life. Nothing very nice on a homeless mind. So if a gorgeous force is what you desire, don't play with matches. Don't play with fire.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Fire.
Why don't you just wash your car at home?
When I wash my car, everything runs down the street and down into the storm drains. With all the chemicals in the soaps and waxes, the last thing I want to do is poison my own drinking water. At least here, it's all contained and recycled on site. That's why I also take my car in for oil changes instead of doing it myself. I might take a chance on spilling stuff. You know what the best part is?
What?
More time to kick back and watch the game.
How far would you go to protect the planet?
I want you to build an ark.
Here we go. Okay, that's good. Oh, okay. Ow! Oh!
Maybe there's another way.
People, the flood is imminent!
Is it too much to ask for a little precipitation?
Go to fightglobalwarming.com to find out what you and your community can do to reduce global warming pollution.
Somewhere around the world, there are men and women of the armed forces risking their lives, helping rebuild communities after natural disasters, collecting toys for needy children, tutoring kids in school, These are your sons and daughters who work to keep us safe, secure, and free. Dedicated men and women who put their country first.
Hi folks, Cesar here. Welcome back to our next couple segments. In the studio, I have a great friend and another guest from the town of Herndon, Councilwoman Sheila Olem. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Cesar.
A lot of great stuff going on in Herndon.
Oh, wow. We have got so much stuff going on. It's just...
For folks that haven't been to Herndon, I mean, you got Metro, development. Let's start there.
Yeah, well, people that come to Herndon probably know where Jimmy's Old Town Tavern is.
Right, know it well.
We used to have a fire station. Well, we have raised the fire station, where we have a temporary station, and they now have the first floor. They, started out, had to dig the big hole, put the underground parking in, and now they're working on the first floor. It's really exciting to see this new fire department going in downtown Herndon.
And that's right near Jimmy's, right?
Right across the street from Jimmy's.
Good stuff. So also happening in Herndon, I just read in the paper, I actually know about it, but there was a big lot that was bought and then sold to developers and being developed, or what's going on there?
Yes. In fact, on December 2nd, so it's just a couple of days away, we will be having a briefing because we put out a request for bids on quite a few acres that we've now consolidated in the downtown, done all the zoning for it, and we're going to be inviting developers to put together proposals based on some guidelines that we've given them on what we want to see in our downtown.
Now that's been a long time coming, right?
I've only been in town for 25 years, and it's been talked about since prior to my coming to Herndon.
Wow.
I've been to several charrettes and different proposals over the years,
but it's going through now.
Now it's like, well, one of the problems in the past was we didn't own all the property. So you had to be negotiating with property owners and so forth. So now we have all the land, and that way they can put one big development plan together instead of piecemealing.
So the town actually invested, purchased these little sublots and lots and brought them together.
Exactly.
And now for the good of the town, they are looking to sell it off and have it developed.
Exactly.
That's called progress.
Very much progress. And the development is what the town, the community has been saying that we want. The scale, the look, and the type of development is something that we've talked about all these 30 some odd years. So we're very excited about it.
Okay, so you got the fire station, got the development. I hear rumors of potentially like this art facility or something.
Yes.
Herndon's getting art.
Well, Herndon has been known as an arts community for some time. In fact, you serve with me on the board of the Council for the Arts, and we just celebrated our 30th anniversary in Herndon. And then there's another group called the Foundation for the Cultural Arts. They've been around for about 10 years, and they opened something called Art Space Herndon about 7-8 years ago. And so Herndon is really, and on top of that we have Eldon Street Players, and it is now called Next Stop Theater. And they've turned into a professional theater group. So we want to have the arts downtown Herndon. So that's something that we're asking the developers to put in the project when it gets developed in the downtown.
Wow. So we got the fire station, we got the redevelopment of the lots, we got the art space. We've got Metro coming, right?
We got Metro coming. And just in the last 2 years, we got our first official bike lane in the town limits of Herndon.
Oh, explain that.
Okay. When you go around and you see these bike lanes.
There's a lot of bikers out in Northern Virginia. Yeah. So off the W&OD trail that runs through Herndon, right?
Right, our lakefront property, the W&OD trail.
That's right.
So a lot of people do bike through Herndon, but almost to the Herndon High on a road called Drainsville Road, we were doing some improvements, and we added bike lanes on that road. So that's the first of many to come, because with Metro coming, we know we need to get out of our cars.
Sure.
So.
Well, lots of people want to, right?
They do want to. And when you have official bike lanes or sherrids where you share the road.
Sherrids,
yes,
share the road.
Sherrids
Okay.
or share the road.
Okay.
And they'll have signage designating to share the road. What the signing does, because really, officially, in the state of Virginia, you can ride your bicycle pretty much anywhere. There are certain interstates and highways that you're not supposed to bike on. But in like our community, we have a lot of people biking because of the W&OD trail.
Mm-hmm.
But when you put the signage on the roads and around the area that it's share the road, then the people in the cars become more aware of the bicyclers, and then you have fewer accidents because they're aware that we're all sharing the road together.
No, that's one of the things I love about Herndon. It's got all that sort of vibrant sort of feel to it when you see all these people. Even when it's snowy and rainy, there's people on that bike path.
Absolutely.
You know, they're biking or running or
Yes.
just jogging through, so that is great. I did notice, because I live near it, recently, well, there were some lights that got turned on the bike path, right?
Yes, and that's another exciting thing. We are the first part of the W&OD trail to be lit, and that took years. That didn't happen overnight.
Why did that take so long?
Well, you've got to work with the park authority because that trail is managed by another whole group, and it's considered parkland and it's closed at dark. And because we have this vibrant downtown and we have things like the festival and Friday Night Live, so you see people out later in the evening, and because right now it gets dark so early, a lot of people actually commute back and forth to work. So that gives people in our vicinity the ability to cycle on that trail when it's not really that late at night, but it's really dark. Like at 5:30 now, it's dark.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about it. I mean, it's lit.
Yes.
It looks great, and you see a lot of people just constantly on there. So.
And you also notice that we have all these Herndon signs on the W&OD trail that say bike on, walk on, etc.
Right.
And then there's the other signage that we've gotten in the last, it's not quite a year, so that there are 8 different roads that bring you into the town of Herndon. So now we have these beautiful signs that say Herndon, the year we were established, and they're actually lit at night, so you can see them.
Little gateway sort of pillars and things,
signs. Yeah, and so those things will be there for years to come, and they're at all 8 different points that bring you into the town.
Now, one of the other accomplishments, and I give you full credit because I heard you were champion of the bike racks in Herndon, right?
Yes. Yes.
So people that come to Herndon.
Yeah, look for these cute little bike racks in the downtown Herndon. They look like little bicycles. And when I was first elected to the council in 2010, I was going through the Pedestrian Bicycle Advisory Committee minutes, and I'm the chair of that. And I found that we had received these bike racks, and they were sitting in storage. So it took about 6 months. We got them out, dusted them off.
So they were being used in storage.
They were in storage.
Okay.
Well, maybe they were holding things up.
Yeah, okay. Paperweights.
So we got those out, and they're very attractive, and they're all around our historic downtown area.
So the big thing coming to Herndon are the not 1 but 2 metro stations, correct?
Yes.
So what's going on with that?
Well, one of them will actually be in the town, where that when you'll be in the middle of the toll road, and when you get off, you can walk into the town limits of the town of Herndon. The other one will be just outside the town, where the Center for Innovative Technology is located. So it's in that area.
So there'll be one on the east and the west side,
Right.
with access to above the toll road.
Exactly.
Okay.
But the one at the CIT facility, we have a lot of people who back up to Rock Hill Road, and so they'll be able to have easy access to that one, because that station would be closer than the one that's going to be off the Herndon Parkway, right between Spring Street and Monroe Street on the Herndon side.
Now, when is that targeted to be finished now? I've heard a couple different.
Yeah, they've had some glitches and things. Last I heard it was 2018,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that it's either the end of 2018 or the middle of 2019.
Well, we're at 2016 for all intents and purposes, so that's good. And it kind of fits into the whole plan, right? You've got the metros, you've got the bike lanes, you've got development, you probably have mixed use. There's probably some affordable sites or housing mixed in there somewhere, so.
We have, we don't have concrete plans for what is going to go by the metro, but we have done some zoning changes to encourage developers to come.
A little bit more density?
A little bit more density, because where the metro is where you want your density.
Oh, yeah.
So that people don't need a car.
Right.
Or maybe they have a car that they don't use all the time. Maybe a family has one automobile instead of several because they're using the metro all the time. But I mean, I moved to Herndon in 1990 because we thought metro would be there in 10 years, and then everything came to a stop.
Oh.
And then I was actually on the Dulles Toll Road Task Force to talk about where the stations would be back in 2001.
Wow.
So they've been working on this for a long time. I was going to meetings back in 90, and then it all kind of stopped, and then I was on the task force. So I am so excited to be on the council now when it's starting to look like we're really going to get it, and you can see them out doing work.
Oh, yeah.
Right now.
That's what's amazing. I mean, if you drive out to Dulles Airport, the toll road, I mean, you can see right in the middle, and at Monroe, and then at the CIT, you can see the Herndon sort of stops where that be.
Right. And if you go to the airport, you can see some of the infrastructure going on out there as well.
Yeah.
So I go out there to pick up relatives when they come to town, and so it's always fun.
I hear your mom's in town, right? Gracie's in town? All right.
Yes. It's always exciting when Gracie comes up, as you know. I call her the rock star from Alabama.
Right.
And when Gracie comes up, everyone wants an audience with her. So
I hear you have packed her schedule, so when we come back, we're going to talk about all the cool stuff for the holidays and what awaits Gracie and anyone that wants to come to Herndon, right? I mean, there's
absolutely.
How many things do we have going on here? I mean,
we have got so many things coming up, and they're all starting this week.
This week?
This week.
All right. Well, look, folks, when we come back, we're going to go through all the events that you can find in Herndon, and I'm sure you'll see not only Councilwoman Sheila Olem, but Gracie at all these events. So come on back and we'll give you the details.
Saving for retirement might be easy for some folk, but for others, it might take a little more work. And for those who haven't started, there are still things you can do to catch up.
Oh, that is good news.
Like getting out from underneath past debt. And don't get wrapped up with high-interest credit cards.
Get you some eyes.
Be diversified with your investments. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Your financial goals are not out of reach. The choice is clear. For a happy ending, choose to save.
Everyone with alcohol and drug addiction is in the same boat. With treatment, you can find solid ground. For drug and alcohol information and treatment referral for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Dude, are you sure you want this tattoo? Because just do it.
Some mistakes in life are permanent. Like hearing loss. To learn how to protect your hearing, visit asha.org.
You've probably heard about heart disease, but did you know that it's the #1 killer of women nationwide? Heart disease claims more lives each year than breast cancer, lung cancer, or strokes combined. But there are steps you can take to protect yourself against it. For more information on how you can prevent heart disease, contact your local American Heart Association or visit their website at www.americanheart.org.
We're back to the Inside Scoop. Here again, your host.
Hi folks, Cesar here for our last segment. Welcome back, Councilwoman Sheila Olem. We're going to talk about all the fun stuff if you're around for the holidays, all the going on in Herndon.
Well,
so where do we start? It's starting this week, right? What's happening this week in Herndon?
Sometime in the next week, people in Herndon will start getting these.
Oh, what do you got there?
What do you got there? The Herndon calendars.
Okay.
And every year we have like photo contests.
Okay.
And you don't have to live in the town, but if you want to take pictures, the pictures have to be in the town. So everyone gets excited when this comes out, especially the individuals who won. And a friend of yours and mine won.
I saw that. Yeah, that looks cool.
He's looking forward to getting some of these to give out to his family.
And now these have all the events and dates and Friday Night Live and all the cool stuff going on here.
Absolutely. And the organizations that are really organized in the town will get this to us, which they have to get it to us in November for the whole year if they want it in the calendar. So a lot of things do end up in this calendar. And you know, whenever people want to know what's going on, that's where I go, is check out my Herndon calendar.
All right.
All the events are there.
And this is new for 2016, and it's available at the...
Everyone that lives in the town
will
get this in the mail.
That's awesome.
We mail these to all the households in town.
Oh, that's good.
So you don't even have to go get it.
I'll look for mine. Okay, good stuff. All right, what else is happening in Herndon?
Okay, well, we were talking about development, so I just wanted to mention that on December 2nd, which is in 2 days, that's when we're going to be meeting with the people putting in their RFPs.
That's right.
So we're kicking off December with some exciting things for downtown development, which we talked about. And then on Saturday, there's something called the home tour.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
This is great.
And the home tour is going to be really exciting because a couple of people I know are going to be in it. My colleague on council, Grace Wolf, and her groom, Joe Cunningham, will be opening up their home. And also my good buddy,
let me take a look at this right here. Look at this.
Will be there.
It's Tour Stop C for Cesar. Wow, look at that.
There we go.
Wow, so the Herndon Homes Tour, that is really a cool event, right? I mean...
It is so much fun, and it goes on this Saturday December the 5th, from 10 in the morning until 4.
And full disclosure, I've done nothing to decorate the house, just so it's not mine doing. Right, absolutely. So this is cool. So people... They can get tickets and attend the tours, and this is Saturday from
10 to 4. Now, if you're a planner, you can go get your tickets either at the Herndon Florist or the Community Center, and they're $15. If you wait until the day of, you can pick them up at those places, but they'll be $20.
Now, the nice thing is you have a little central meeting spot, and then people can do the tour from there, and you got a little central meeting spot at the art space, correct?
That is called a rest stop.
Rest stop.
So art space is a rest stop, so people go by there. And we actually have someone that sponsors that rest stop. I believe that's the Chamber. And so if you go in, they'll usually have cookies and some light refreshments. And then all of our groups in the community, and just so I don't forget anyone, we're going to have the Herndon Foundation for the Cultural Arts and the Council for the Arts will be the docents at Grace Wolf's home. Council member Grace Wolf is on the tour. Okay. And then the Order of the Eastern Star will be at the Edmondson's home.
Okay, that's stop 2. Okay.
Yeah, and then there's another group of folks called the Herndon Rotary, which I'm a member of, and if you've noticed my pin,
got the pin there.
Little Rotarian symbol in it.
Good.
And members of the Rotary will be at your home.
At Cesar's Palace, as they call it.
And then the Herndon Chamber of Commerce will be at the art space.
Right.
Sponsoring that with refreshments. And then the Herndon Fortnightly Club will be at former Planning Commission member Kevin East and his wife Kathy's
Oh, yes,
home.
yes, nice.
And then the Herndon Women's Club will be at Sue Groff's home. And then the Evergreen Builders, which are building a new development directly across from Art Space, will have one of their homes, one of the new homes, on the tour as well.
And for the folks at home, that's right off the bike path. If you love the bike path and a home right on it, you got to check that out.
Yes.
So this is really cool because it's predominantly in the little sort of historic, dense area and all these different homes. I was just amazed flipping through how different all these homes are. You know, when you think of Herndon, I always thought, wow, it's just kind of like a bunch of older homes, but these are really cool. Some are contemporary, some are remodeled, and some are just traditional. So something everyone should come out to Herndon and see, right?
Yes, I mean, there have been so many of the older homes on the tour over the years I've been there. There was a home that actually had one of the fireplaces in the center of the house, and it opened up into 4 different rooms. Build one fire, and that was something that they did years ago. Yeah. And we've had several homes over the years that were over 100 years old. That's always fun.
Well, that's why it's the historic district, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Well, good. All right. So that sounds like fun. You got the calendar, you got the homes tour happening. What else we got going on in Herndon?
Okay, got a few notes so I don't forget things. There is also on Sunday will be the Arts and Crafts Show, which takes place at the Herndon Community Center. That is really a big deal.
That's off Ferndale, right?
On Ferndale.
Okay.
Off the W&OD trail. You can bike over or you can take your car. Free parking and admission. They have all kinds of awesome things. Baked goods, artsy things, crafts things. A lot of people go there to pick up their holiday gifts.
That's Sunday 10 to 4?
Absolutely.
Okay, okay. All right.
So there's no charge to get in and go look, but if you're hungry, you're going to spend a lot of money. There's a couple of people that bring fudge and other things. That's the only time I buy that.
Okay.
Just at that event. It's so good.
Eat fudge on Sundays. Okay.
Yeah, fudge on Sundays.
Okay.
And then there's a group called the Herndon Town Square Singers, and they will be doing their winter performance in a week, December 11th and 12th, and it will take place at the Next Stop Theater.
Oh, okay.
Which is in the Sunset Business Park.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's always a fun event, and you do need tickets for that. There is a cost, and you can get those at the community center. And it's always a wonderful show. I usually take my mom, but unfortunately she will be leaving before the show, so we missed it this year.
Okay.
And then whether you're a big kid or a little kid,
trains.
The little train station there,
everyone loves trains.
there will be a display in the Herndon Municipal Building, which is on Lynn Street. There will also be one in our little museum, and then the caboose will be open. So there will be lots of things for children to do, and we have like the Herndon Chamber of Commerce Committee will be helping out with the event at the Municipal Center. And then we'll have the Sterling Park Amateur Radio Club and the Herndon Historic Society at the caboose, helping out with that.
Right there off the bike path.
Right there on the bike
path. Oh, very cool, very cool.
And then the Historical Society will also be helping at the Depot Museum, where they have a lot of neat historic things with Captain Herndon, as well as a miniature train will be in there. And if you've never been to these, it is so fun, even if you're a big kid. If you have little kids, and you can use it as an excuse to go, but we see lots of big kids going there like me without little kids. But the detail that these individuals that are in this put into all the displays. And as many years as I've gone to that, there's always something different because they're continually working on it and adding different things.
Oh, fun.
And if you see it this time of year, it's going to have all the Christmas things on it. If it was a different time of year, they would totally decorate it different.
How fun. And that's Saturday the 12th and 13th?
The 12th and 13th.
Okay.
So on Saturday from 10 to 5.
Okay.
And on Sunday from 11 to 4.
The 10th annual train day in Herndon. That's awesome.
Well, you know, Herndon and trains, you know, we've got our little old train station because we were right on the train track, which is the W&OD trail. And now we're getting the train to come back with the metro.
History, train, future, metro train.
Absolutely.
No, I like it. I like that synergy. What else is going on in town? All this stuff going on in Herndon, man.
And then we have some things just for little kids. So if you're not a little kid, go borrow one and take them because there's all kinds of fun stuff on December 12th. So if you go to the train display, you can also go to the rec center, and they're going to have crafts and kitty open gym. And they'll be there from 11 to 1. They'll have a storyteller at 11:30.
This is outside?
No, this is at the community center.
Okay.
And there is a fee for that, and I understand Santa will be visiting, so it sounds like a lot of fun.
Santa's going to be in Herndon.
Visiting Herndon.
Wow, that's big.
That's a great event to take your children.
That's big.
And then this Saturday, while the home tour is going on, there will also be an arts and crafts event. It's an annual event, and we call it the Holiday Arts and Craft. And the Council for the Arts will be doing this. So I brought a couple of things.
Oh, very cool.
I like props.
Yeah.
They're always kidding me at council meetings because I like to bring in props for things.
That's very cool.
These are a couple of little, like an idea of some things that the children are going to be able to put together.
Oh, wow.
Pick out their own.
Well, mine wouldn't look like that at all.
And then this is just an example of something the little kids can put together, and it'll have some hot chocolate in it for someone.
Oh, very nice. That's very nice. Very cool.
The Council for the Arts, they're training people on how to make these in the next couple of days so that they'll be prepared to go in there with all the little ones and make these.
Well, awesome.
That's really exciting for the children.
So lots of stuff going on in Herndon. You don't have an election in May. You have it in November, right?
Progress in Herndon.
Congratulations for moving that. I think it really represents the town much better than it did in years past. And certainly kudos to you for all your energies and ideas, Sheila. Always great having you here. I mean, I can't tell you, Herndon's better because you are on that council for quite frankly, for all these years. So keep doing what you're doing, and thank you so much for coming on the show. Folks, if you haven't been to Herndon in a while, come to Herndon. You can find Councilwoman Olem just about everywhere at all these events. Trust me on this, she is active in the community. So you got to do that. Bye now.